All right, let's talk about this huge economic force that's always changing things around us, even when we don't notice. It's called creative destruction. So, have you ever stopped to wonder why new technologies always seem to kill off old jobs? I mean, it feels like every single time something new and amazing comes along, an entire way of doing things just poof, it's gone. It's a pattern we've all seen. I mean, just think about it. Back in the day, the whole horse and buggy industry was massive. You had blacksmiths, carriage makers, the whole shebang. Then bam, the automobile shows up. Fast forward a bit. Film cameras? Everybody had one. Then digital cameras came and just wiped them out. And seriously, who here remembers going to Blockbuster on a Friday night? Streaming services like Netflix and Spotify just made DVDs and CDs, well, basically relics. But here's the crazy part. What if I told you that all this chaos, all this change, isn't some kind of accident? What if it's actually the system working exactly the way it's supposed to? Yeah, this whole process actually has a name. It's called creative destruction. You can think of it as the engine of our economy, where new ideas are constantly bulldozing the old ones. It's the cycle of creating and, well, destroying that actually pushes everything forward. And this isn't a new idea, by the way. It was made famous by an economist named Joseph Schumpeter way back in 1942. And get this, he didn't just say it was part of capitalism, he said it was the essential fact about it. This constant churn is what keeps the whole thing alive and kicking. Schumpeter had a really cool way of describing it, too. He didn't see it as some gentle little breeze of change. No way. He called it a perennial gale, like a never-ending storm that's just constantly rearranging the entire economic map. Okay, so how does this gale actually work? Well, it's pretty simple, really. First, some kind of disruptive innovation pops up. And this new thing, it offers a massive advantage. Maybe it's way cheaper or way, way better. So, of course, the old way of doing things becomes totally obsolete. And then, well, all the resources, the people, the money, the jobs, they all have to pack up and move from that dying industry over to the new one. So that brings up the million-dollar question, right? If there's so much destruction involved, is this whole thing good or is it bad? And the answer, as you can probably guess, is it's complicated. Okay, let's look at both sides. On the plus side, the creative part is awesome. We get cooler stuff, whole new industries pop up, and the economy grows. And brand new jobs appear that nobody could have even dreamed of. But the destruction side is real, and it hurts. Entire industries just vanish. That means painful job losses for people whose skills all of a sudden aren't needed anymore. And this isn't just some abstract theory. The impact is very real. Check this out. Research shows that when a big e-commerce warehouse opens up in a county, that area loses, on average, 938 retail jobs. Not in total, per quarter. That's the destructive side of the coin right there in the numbers. And it's not just about jobs either. This constant cycle of new creates other problems. Think about all the waste. Just in the US, we throw out over 100 million cell phones every single year. So for this whole thing to actually be a net positive, for the creative to beat the destructive, that gale has to keep blowing. But what if it's stopping? Here's where it gets really interesting. Some experts are actually worried that the gale is slowing down, that something is holding back the storm. The big worry? It's that today's giant tech companies have gotten so huge, they can basically build giant moats around their castles. They control the whole digital world we live in, they own all our data, and if a tiny little startup looks even slightly threatening, they just buy it. They might actually be stopping the next big disruptive wave before it even gets started. But even the biggest, baddest moats might not be enough to stop what's coming next. Because the next great gale, it's already here, and it's AI. We're not talking about some distant future thing. AI is the creative destruction event of our lifetime, and it is going to change, well, pretty much everything. So what does this mean for you? How do you ride this wave instead of getting crushed by it? Well, history gives us some clues. The biggest thing is to embrace the change, not run from it. That means always learning new skills. It means paying attention to where your field is going, trying to see around the corner. And crucially, it means learning how to use these new tools to your advantage, to see them as an opportunity, not just a threat. Look, the storm of creative destruction is what built the world we live in, for better and for worse. And the next big one, AI, is happening right now. So I'll leave you with this to think about. When you look around today, what job do you think is next on the chopping block? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see what you think.